Hi, welcome to the Short Pour, Expert Tips and Local Gems. I'm Ann Kjellgren, your host, Level 3 sommelier and wine educator. I'm here today to talk with you about Old World and New World wines. What's the difference and why does it even matter? So let's go ahead and jump in. So an Old World country is one, first of all, it's a country that's had a monarchy in the last 250 years. So we're going West European. So we're saying England, Spain, Italy, France, Germany, Austria, Greece, and on it goes in that area. New World wines can be identified by those that have been colonized by those very same countries in the last 250 years. So, for example, the United States, countries in South America, Mexico, Canada, South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, and on and on. So once you can identify that, what are some of the main obvious differences? Well, one of the main differences is location versus grape. So when you're in an old world country, those wines are labeled by place. So you're going to see names like Chianti, Champagne, Sancerre, Chinon, Pouilly-Fuissé. You're going to see names like that. And why is it that they make that so complex? Well, it's really not. All you need to know is that those are places. And when wine was first growing up until about 150 years ago, wine grew in clusters. So you didn't have fields of Cabernet Sauvignon. And in fact, let me use that as an example. You would have all sorts of grapes growing in the same field. And so you could have Cabernet Franc and Sauvignon Blanc in the same field, and they would cross-pollinate and create, you guessed it, Cabernet Sauvignon. So what would happen is they would take what they call field blends, and whatever was growing in their field, they would put it in their wine. And so that's exactly what happened. So take Chianti, for example. Chianti is Sangiovese grape, but that's really only the main one. A Chianti is actually a blend of usually several different grapes, even some white grapes. So if you lived in that area 500 years ago, you probably didn't veer further than about 10 miles from the place you were born. And so you didn't care that it was Sangiovese grapes. It was all Sangiovese grapes. But what you did know is that Siena had wines that tasted like one thing, Chianti had wines that tasted like something else, and you knew that that was what you liked. So that's what people knew was the name of the village. So that's how old wines work. How do you know what the grapes are? You have someone like me, or you just pull out Google and you find out what it is. New World, those wines are going to be labeled by grape. That was started by the United States. We weren't the first, though. The Germans actually have always also labeled their wine by grape. But the Americans decided to do it because they thought that the European way was just too complex. So South America, Australia, all the other New World countries have followed suit, which is actually quite handy. So what you need to know is that Old World wines tend to be from cooler climates. And so the wines are going to be much more crisp and aromatic. The reds will be lighter. They will be more earthy and more complex. In the New World, you're going to find wines that are more fruity, more kind of punchy and in your face. And New World winemaking styles are more innovative, where Old World wines go right to tradition. And that's why you've got vintage variation, because they don't change anything in their wines, where the New World likes to create wines in a way that their wines taste the same year to year to year. So when you crack open the bottle of Kim Crawford, it's going to taste the same in 2024 as it did in 2012. So on that note, let me offer to you a free gift. Down in the show notes, there is a link to my free pocket guide for selecting wines that you can go and download. And thank you so much for joining us today. I will be here on LKN Connect every Wednesday at 4 o'clock for the Short Pour. And again, I'm Ann Kjellgren, and we'll see you next time.